Last week, we went around the league and found every team's most surprising player. Now, let's look at every team's most disappointing player. If you want to find a specific team, this is in order by city, and these stats are as of Sunday, June 11th. Arizona Diamondbacks, Jake McCarthy. After coming up in 2021, he finished 4th in Rookie of the Year in 2022, and he was going to be one of those great young pieces in the Arizona rebuild. The Diamondbacks are great this year, but McCarthy has only played 36 games, 1 home run, 190 average, 528 OPS. Hopefully, it's just a sophomore slump. Atlanta Braves, Michael Harris. From the time he came up last year, he was great. Almost hit 300, 19 homers, 853 OPS. And after winning Rookie of the Year, I thought he could win MVP this year. Instead, it's been a struggle. He spent some time on the IL. Now in 43 games, he has a 190 average, 3 homers, 562 OPS. Just like McCarthy, maybe a sophomore slump, but he does seem to be playing better in the last couple weeks. Baltimore Orioles, Cole Irvin. After putting in a full season last year, he was one of the A's bright spots. 181 innings, 398 ERA. He goes to Baltimore, and that looked like a really solid addition to their rotation, but it was a mess from the start. He got sent down to AAA, and just last week was called back up and won his first game. Still, on the season, he's got a 7.85 ERA over 4 starts. Boston Red Sox, Corey Kluber. You can really take your pick from any Red Sox pitcher. They're 3rd worst in the American League, but Kluber has been especially bad. Nobody thought he was going to be amazing at age 37, but last year he had a 4.34 ERA, and now he's up at 7.13 after 9 starts. Chicago Cubs, Jameson Taillon. Last year, he had his best season since 2018, a 3.91 ERA over 32 starts. He goes to the Cubs, and it seems like a solid move, but after 10 starts, he's 1-4 and has a 7.02 ERA. It's not just a couple bad starts. 8 of those 10 haven't been good, and the team is 1-9 in his starts. Chicago White Sox, Lance Lynn. Just 2 years ago, he was 3rd in the Cy Young voting. Last year, he still kept his ERA under 4, but this year he's blown it out. 13 starts, 6.72 ERA. Of his 13 starts, only 4 of them have been pretty good. Cincinnati Reds, Will Myers. So far, this is his worst year ever. 37 games, 189 average, 3 homers, 541 OPS. Every stat across the board is a career low, and he's been hurt since the last week of May, so maybe when he comes back, he'll get back to at least average. That 44 OPS plus is pretty ugly. Cleveland Guardians, Oscar Gonzalez. Like the Red Sox pitching, you can take your pick from the Guardians offense. Gonzalez had a great rookie year. He was a playoff hero against the Rays and Yankees. He had a 125 OPS plus, and now he's down in the minors. In just 25 games, he was hitting 192, 1 homer, 501 OPS, and the Guardians didn't give him much time to figure it out. Colorado Rockies, Chris Bryant. It seems like he's invisible in Colorado, but it makes sense. His play has been average at best. You'd think he would play better in Colorado, but it hasn't been the case. He's been hurt since the end of May, but before that, he played in 50 games. His .263 average is pretty standard, but his slugging and OPS are way down, only an 87 OPS plus. The only year he was this bad was 2020. Detroit Tigers, Javier Baez. Here we have Bryant's old teammate, also wallowing in obscurity, this time in Detroit. His numbers dropped way off from 2021 to 2022, his OPS dropping from 813 to 671, and now he's sliding even further. 60 games, 4 homers, 220 average, 575 OPS, so almost another 100-point drop, and a 60 OPS plus. Houston Astros, Jose Abreu. Last year, he had a power outage, cutting his home run total in half from 30 to 15, but his average jumped to over 300. Now, in his first year in Houston, everything is down. 3 home runs, putting him on pace for single digits. And this time, his average is way down also, just 220, along with a 564 OPS and 57 OPS plus. Kansas City Royals, Brady Singer. He made a big jump from 2021 to 2022, his ERA going from 491 to 323, so it looked like he was on the upswing, but he did not carry that success into 2023. So far, 13 starts and a 6.58 ERA. He's had 6 good starts, but the other 7 are bringing him down. Los Angeles Angels, Tyler Anderson. Over the first 6 years of his career, he was pretty consistent, his ERA always landing in the 4s. Then he goes to the Dodgers and he rolls out a 2.57 ERA. That got him a contract with the Angels, and they wish he would at least go back to his usual 4s. After 11 starts, he's sitting at 5.62. At least for him, I would say 6 of his 11 starts are pretty good, but he's been very inconsistent. Los Angeles Dodgers, Noah Syndergaard. The Dodgers had to know he was a high-risk signing. He's been hurt so much since 2019, but last year, between the Angels and the Phillies, he was pretty good with a 3.94 ERA. He just can't seem to find it with the Dodgers. 12 starts, 1-4 record, 7.16 ERA. Miami Marlins, Sandy Alcantara. He's been a rising star ever since 2018, reaching the peak last year with a Cy Young Award, 228 innings and a 2.28 ERA. At age 27, there was no reason to think he couldn't do it again, and even though the Marlins have been awesome this year, it's not really thanks to Sandy. 13 starts, 2-5 record, 4.75 ERA. If he can pick it up, and at least bring his ERA plus back to league average, this Marlins team can make some moves. Milwaukee Brewers, Jesse Winker. After his All-Star campaign in 2021, he went to Seattle in 2022 and his numbers went way down, and now with Milwaukee, it's even worse. His average is all the way down at 204. His OPS already wasn't that good last year and it's down another 100 points. He doesn't have a home run this year after 39 games, and he's been on the IL for the last 2 weeks. Minnesota Twins, Carlos Correa. After that free agent fiasco, he lands back with the Twins. He had a really good 2022, and this year he's been below average. Average down 74 points to 217, OPS down 124 points to 710, but he still has 8 homers and 29 RBI, so not terrible, but not what Minnesota paid for. New York Mets, Justin Verlander. Sure, he's old, but he won the Cy Young last year, so you wouldn't expect a big drop-off. He was hurt to start the season, and maybe that's the problem here. His ERA is up almost 3 full runs, 4.85 in 7 starts, and he hasn't been entirely bad, but every other start has been a clunker. New York Yankees, Nestor Cortez. He was a breakout star last year, 28 starts and a 2.44 ERA, and this year he's more than doubled that, 5.16 in 11 starts. It isn't as bad as it looks. He's had 2 really bad starts, one against Texas, one against Tampa, but otherwise hasn't been too bad. To be honest, the Yankees don't have a lot of good options for this list. Oakland A's, Aledmys Diaz. It seems like he was trying to use the A's as a springboard to something better, but he hasn't done himself any favors. 45 games, only 1 home run. His average down 39 points from last year. OPS down 168 points. This is shaping up to be the worst year of his career. Philadelphia Phillies, Trey Turner. In his first year in Philly, he hasn't clicked yet. His power is about on par with last year, even though his slugging is down. He's stealing bases at about the same rate, but the big problem is he's not getting on base, and for the most part, he's been hitting first or second. His career on base going into this year was 355, and he's standing at 290. That's led to his OPS being down 122 points to 687 and an 88 OPS plus. Pittsburgh Pirates, Ji-Man Choi. Of all the teams in the league, I had the hardest time finding a disappointing player for the Pirates. It's hard to judge Ji-Man Choi. He only played 9 games before getting hurt, but in those 9 games, he was only hitting 125 with a 469 OPS. So not good, but it's 9 games, so don't go crazy on him. San Diego Padres, Manny Machado. It seems like this guy's always good, but this year, Manny, just like his team, is still trying to find it. His average is down 54 points to 244. OPS is down 223 points to 675. OPS plus at 89. Only 6 homers after hitting 32 last year. It's weird to see him be a below average offensive player. Seattle Mariners, Colton Wong. You had a lot of options here on offense, and on the pitching side, Chris Flexen qualifies for this list, but Colton Wong takes the cake. He's been a pretty solid offensive player, also a guy that's going to steal a lot of bases. This year, his average is down 98 points to 153. No homers, no stolen bases. He's slugging 178, which I didn't think was possible, and his OPS is down at 424 with an OPS plus of 25, which again is almost too low to comprehend. San Francisco Giants, Sean Manaea. After a pretty bad year with the Padres, he's gotten worse with the Giants. His ERA went from 4.96 to 5.52. He's no longer a full-time starter, only 6 starts and 8 relief appearances. His last start being back on May 10th where he gave up 8 runs, only 4 earned in less than 3 innings. St. Louis Cardinals, Wilson Contreras. He was an all-star last year, finishing with an 815 OPS, and he crossed the line to play for the Cubs' biggest rival, the Cardinals, replacing the legend Yadier Molina. It's been a tough go. His average down near 200, his OPS down 165 points to 650, and OPS plus of 79. The Cardinals need him to pick it up to make the playoffs. Tampa Bay Rays, Jalen Beeks. Not a lot has gone wrong for Tampa this year, and they've been calling Jalen Beeks' number a lot. 24 games, 31 2/3 innings, 22 earned runs. Only 4 of those 24 outings have been bad. including giving up 5 runs and only getting 2 outs against the White Sox, and giving up 6 runs and only getting 2 outs against the Red Sox. And he's given up runs in 10 of his 24 outings. He hasn't been super sharp, but also not the worst. Texas Rangers, Jacob deGrom. Not many good options for the Rangers. This team has been playing great all year, so let's just go with deGrom. He pitched great this year, just a 2.67 ERA in 6 starts and 30 1/3 innings. But that's all they're going to get this year. Health has been a big problem for him ever since 2021, and even with his new team, that hasn't changed. Toronto Blue Jays, Alek Manoah. From a great rookie year in 2021 to a 3rd place Cy Young finish in 2022, this 25-year-old looked like he was on his way to stardom. 2023 has been a disaster. 13 starts, 6.36 ERA, and the team shut him down after his June 5th start, giving up 6 runs and only getting 1 out. He's back in their minor league camp, trying to figure out what's wrong. Washington Nationals, Erasmo Ramirez. He was a great arm out of their pen last year. 60 games, 86 innings, 2.92 ERA, and this year he's more than doubled that. 23 games, 27 innings, 6.33 ERA. He's given up runs in 8 of those outings. 7 of those 8, he gave up more than 1, and he's given up runs in 4 of his last 5 games. That's a wrap on every team's most disappointing player. Let me know what you think. There were a lot of options for some of these teams, so if you have another player that should have been considered, sound off in the comments below. Also, click the card above or my end screen for every team's most surprising player. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love baseball, please give me a sub. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.